Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Keith with Craps TX. Thank you once again so much for hitting that play button. And before we get started, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit that bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when we put out another video. And you'll also get some other suggested content in your feed that is similar. A lot of good craps channels out there. And today we're actually going to cover a strategy by Uncle Mel at Craps Hawaii. There's his banner right there, and I'll put a link to the video. The video was about 3 years ago, but he's touched on this particular strategy a few times, and there's a few different ways to kind of tackle it, and you can put your own spin on it if you'd like. But it's power pressing 76 inside and 130 inside. So real quick, just to kind of show you what it looks like. So 76 inside is, I believe it's what, 20 each on the 4 and the 9, so that's 40, and then 18 each on the 6 and 8. So these would pay, sorry, just trying to get these out here real quick. So yeah, the 6 and the 8 pay 21 each, the 5 and the 9 would pay 28 each, and what he would do would be to press these up and get them up to the 130 level, and on a hit or two, then he would regress back down to this 76 level. And then later on in the video, he just starts out at the 130 level, and he regresses a couple of times, but then he also goes the other way. You know, once you kind of recognize that you're on a good roll, start pressing up. You know, start pressing the 8 up to 42. Start pressing the 9 and the 5 up to 35, where you're getting 50. You know, 50 for 1. So we'll roll it out here real quick and see if we can do any damage with it. I'll keep it real here, and you know, no funny editing or anything like that. So we'll roll it out. I don't have the biggest bankroll for it. I just don't want to drag the video out too long, but hopefully we can get a good idea of how this works. So I've got 500 set up here in obviously all the different denominations, 25, 1, and 5. So yeah, let's get started. And you don't play the pass line or the don't pass. I believe in one version like on the come out, he'll hop the 5s. Another version, he'll hop the 7s. So like I said, there's several different versions that he rolls out. Again, a great channel, Uncle Mel at Craps Hawaii. Check it out. Yeah, it's he's a good teacher too. Very, very methodical, and explains everything that he's doing. So, all right, let's get started. We're coming out. Nice out. We have a yo, 6-5 yo. That doesn't help us right now, but let's keep going. Get a point. And we have a 3 craps. See a horn, bet a horn. And a 7, a frontline winner. And hitting the puck over here. Okay, we got a 4-2-6, 2x4. All right, so let's get set up here. We'll just throw out $76 to the dealer. Put that in the come and set me up 76 inside, heavy on the 5 and 9. So let's get that set up. We got 20 and 20 on the 5 and 9, and 18 and 18 on the 6 and 8. I can count here. All right, so let's get started. See how it goes here while I'm knocking the chips down. Well, not a good start. I don't even have to use a stick for that one. That's a 6-1, 7 out. So I'm just going to pull these to the side so I don't have to restack them. And we'll set another point, and I'll just pay the $76 to the dealer to get it done. All right, we have a 6-4-10. I didn't even set the puck last time. Okay, so we have a 6-4-10. Let's drop $76. All right, so we'll give that back to the dealer here. Set me up again. We'll just slide these back up, and just like magic, I've got 76 inside. Once again, heavy on the 5 and 9. So 20, 18, 18, and 20. Let's do something this time, shooter. Come on. Well, buckshot, 6, 4, 10. Right back on the point. All right, so the puck goes off. 6, 5, yo. Should be playing the field. There's a lot of field numbers coming up. All right, we got a 6, 2, 8. All right, let's see if we can't get something started. All right, man, we're just hitting all the horn numbers today. There's the box cars. And 2, 3, 5. All right, so that 20 pays 28. Get some chips over here. They have a lot. So what he does is put that out in red. So we got 25, 6, 7, 8. He'll throw in $2. So we'll cash that up for a red. And we got $30. We're going to go up $15 each on the 5 and 9. That's going to take that to 35. We can clean those up and get some green down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now those are already set up. That 35 will pay 49 or 50 for 1. So it's kind of the object of that. And then he'll go back down to the $20 level once one of those 5 or 9s are hit. And then like the 6 and 8 are kind of played as their own separate game. Another box cars. All right, we're going to keep those horn numbers in business. And 5, 2, 7 out. All right, so we'll take this down. And we'll just wait for the next shooter, see if we can't get something going. But hopefully we can see enough scenarios on this $76 level where you kind of get an idea of what's going on. All right, we're coming out. Dice are out. 4, 3, 7. Lots of 7s. Lots of horns, lots of 7s. And 6, 5, or as I knock chips down, 6, 4, 10. I need to give me a wall on this side. All right, so we got a point there of 10. Let me bend down and get a couple of chips off the floor. All right, so 10 is our point. Again, we'll throw down $76. Oop, the wrong color. All right, $76. Dealer, please set me up. 76 inside, heavy on the 5 and the 9. So there's 4. Guess I could have just left those out, but I'm trying to keep it realistic so I don't confuse anybody by leaving chips out on the table or having to explain myself every time on that. There we go. 76 inside. All right, dice are out. All right, we got a 4, 1, 5 once again, kind of like last time. I said 20 is going to pay 28. There's 25. Something on my chip here. 28, and we'll drop 2, take it to 30. Dealer plus my 5 and 9 up by 15 each. 1, 2, 3. Oops. And 3. So that brings those up to 35. Again, we'll swap those 5 reds on each out for green. My expert chip stacking skills. Alright, let's do some damage. Come on, shooter. Alright, 6, 2, 8. Alright, so like I said, these are kind of played at their own. The outside's one game and the inside's one game. So that 18 pays 21. We're going to throw down $3 and take those 2 to 30. So that's going to be another 12 on each. So 18 and 12 is 30. We'll clean that up and get a green chip under there. That 30 will pay 35. And again, he kind of does the same thing where he'll just regress back down to the $18 level and just kind of keep going back and forth like that. And we'll start here shortly. We'll start out a roll at the 130 level, and I'll show you what he does from there. All right, dice out. 5, 3, 8. All right, so like I said, at 30 pays 35. He'll throw in $1, make it 36. Dealer, take my 6 and 8 back down to 18 each. So we'll bank that. Keep that in a separate rack over here, see if we can make a little money. All right, so 36 back on the 6 and 8. I know the speed is just mesmerizing. You can speed it up on the YouTube, on the YouTubes. Dice out. We got a 6-5 yo. Yo 11. 4-1-5. All right, so that 35 pays 49 or 50 for 1. So we'll say dealer, take me back down to 20 each on the 5 and 9. So we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll cash in one of these here for change. And take these back. Well, actually, take them back to 20 each. All right, so then we put $80 in our rack. And we'll go another round here. So you see we're back down to the original 76. 20, 20, 18, 18. We'll go one more round here and then we'll do the 130 level. All right, so there is a 7. So that'll kind of wipe out this round. Hopefully you can kind of see what it did. It just goes up and down, up and down. If you'd like, you can go, continue up to the 130 level and then go up, kind of what we're about to do here in a moment. All right, so let me just go and take these down real quick before we get set up on the other. I guess I could put that back in my rack instead of over here, couldn't I? What was that, 76? Yeah. That was my money. Giving it back to the bank. No, I wasn't. I lost it. I hit 7 out. Golly. Get it right. I know y'all are yelling at me through the phone or screen or whatever you're watching this on. All right, so let's do the 130 method. Okay, let's get a point set. We got a 639. 130 is 25 on each of the 5, 6, 8, and 9, and then gotta take my own chips, not the banker's chips. We go 35 on the outside, 5 and 9, so that's 70. 50 is 120. Oh yeah, so there you go, 130. So we have 35, 30, 30, and 35. All right, so let's go, and we'll just walk through it and talk through it. Hopefully we can hit a few numbers here. 6 is going to pay 35. Now again, there's a couple different things you can do. You can either go right back down to the $18 level like we did on the last method where we started out at 76, or we can go ahead and take that 6 up to I believe he goes up to 60, or he goes up to 66. I think he went up to 66. Okay, so let's do that. That's what is that, 65? So I'll have to throw in $1. We'll take that to 66. That'll pay 77. Hopefully we'll hit that again and I'll show you what goes from there. All right, we have a hard 10. Actually, you know what? What did we set as our point? Or was that our point? No, we hit something. What did we hit? What did we hit? We hit it was a 9, I believe. I think. It was one of the numbers. Okay, so there's a 10. That doesn't help us out. Another 6-5 yo. Get that out of the way there. Alright, and a hard 4. Finding all the holes and all the horns and everything else. And there's another horn. 3 craps. And a 5. Alright, we got a 4-1-5. So the 35, that's going to pay 50 for 1. Right, and these we take up to, what did he take those up to? These 75. Honestly, you can do whatever you want, really, at this point. I mean, we're going to go up, we're going to press up, Let's take those both up to 60. Yeah, let's go from there. All right, we got a 6-5 yoke. And again, at any point you can regress. I'll lock up some profits. Okay, we got a 5-3-8. All right, we're gonna pay 35 on that 30. Same thing like with the 6. Let's take it up to 66. So we'll add $1 in. All right, dice out. 3 craps. Alfredo sauce. All right, and a 6-3-9. Okay, so that's point, I think. I have to rewind the video and check it out. Okay, so we have what, 60 pays. Should have this written down somewhere. Still gotta do all the math. 6 pays, 60. Figure it out, Keith. That's 12. 12 times 7 is 84. Right, hopefully. Again, if I screwed up, we'll figure it out and correct it down the line. 84. Okay, so now we're going to go to 150, or what does it go to? I think it just goes to 100. So yeah, we'll take that to 100. So we'll take off that, put the greens on there, and then we'll bank the rest of this. We may have to use that, but I'll just keep them separate for now. All right, so we're at 100 on the 9. We'll go ahead and replace that with a black chip. You can continue to go up on that and keep pressing up, or I think once he starts getting black chips out on the table, he'll start regressing whenever he hits the next one. So there is a 6-4-10. That is going to be the point. So we have the point set now. And a 1-6-7. So yeah, we didn't get to complete that. It is kind of a tricky strategy, but if you can get the right shooter, just as with any other strategy, you can make some pretty good money at it. But you know, it's kind of a grind. You got to go up, down, up, down, up, down, and hopefully up. Finish up. All right, we'll go one more time, maybe two more times, just depending on how the dice roll at the 130 level. All right, we got a hard 4. Get the end numbers on these points. All right, again, we'll throw out, was it 130? Golly, I don't. Well, we'll have to dig into this over here. I'm not going to throw a bunch of reds out there. So let's just go like that. And then 35 on the 5 and 9, 30 on the 6 and 8. All right, point is 4, dice are up. 3 craps, again with the horn numbers and the field numbers. 2x4, 6. All right, that's 6. 30 pays 35. And we'll take that up to 66. We'll have to throw $1 down. Need to get change. Where's that? Take that up to 66. Put the rest back over here. I guess we could just put all this together. See, we are down, but just trying to roll this strategy out and show it up. There's a 2x4, 6, so that's hit. 66 pays 77. That one's fairly easy to remember. And then from there, I believe he took it up to, I think he went to 150. He threw in $7, I think it is. 66 is 66 and 77 is 143. Threw in $7. And we're going to go to 150 on the 6. And I think that's as high as he went. I think he started regressing after that. Should have wrote some notes down. That would have been helpful. While I'm trying to take the money from the other chips and the other numbers. Alright, so 150 on the 6. So we've got a black chip out there. Once we get that black chip out there and we hit again, then we'll regress on that number. And you can take it all the way back down to the original 30 that was on there. All right, we got box cars, 12 midnight. There we go, 2x4, 6. 150. Here we go, we got to do math again, and I didn't write anything down. I should know these, but being a new craps player, I don't have all this memorized. 150, I want to say pays 170. Not sure. What is this? 6. I don't know, y'all are yelling at me. 150 pays I want to say 170, but I could be wrong. I can sit here and try to do the math. I can speed it up. That way you guys don't have to sit here and let me figure this out. Can't use my phone calculator because the phone is filming. 150. I know there's an easy way to do it, but I'm not thinking straight right now. 150 pays. We'll just leave it at 170. Regardless. So we're going to take that down, and we're going to go back down to 30 on that, and we'll bank the rest of this. And we've got black chips in our rack. And we're back off and running. All right, we got a 3 craps. And a 415. All right, 35 is going to pay 50 for 1. And we'll take that up to 35. Oh, did he go to 75? Maybe. Take that up to 75. Might have been 70. And let's leave it at 75. 639. So we're going to do the same thing on the other end. Pays 35, pays 50 for 1. We'll take that up to 75. Put 10 in our rack. And 617 out. Alright, so that's going to wipe that out. We'll go ahead and stop there. I don't want to drag this out, especially since I didn't have any notes with me. I was just trying to kick something out real quick here on a Monday afternoon, depending on what day you're watching this. I'm actually filming it the same day that I'm going to publish it. But let's see what we ended up with. There is 200, 300. We know that's 100 there, so that's 400, 425, 450, 475, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 489. So we lost $11 if I did the math right on those other things, and plus that 1 point number that I missed. But hopefully you kind of saw, you know, the method to the madness. I'll link Uncle Mel's video down in the description below. You can go check it out and see how he works it. You know, he'll leave his chips out on the table quite a bit and just kind of tell you what he's doing with the bank. I tried to move mine off and you know, as you would see it in a casino. So that's it. That's the power pressing the 76 inside and power pressing the 130 inside. You know, once you get each to a certain level, you go back down. The 76 level, you just kind of go up once, down once, up once, down once. The 130 level, you go up a couple of times, and once you get a black chip on the table, then you regress. Or get a black chip on a particular number, and you hit it the next time, then you regress. So, all right, so that's been it. I am Keith with Craps TX. If you have any questions or comments, and you want to drop them down below, or here is our email, crapstx@gmail.com. Send us any questions, comments. If you've got a strategy you want us to roll out, send it in. You can put that in the comments, or you can send me an email. That way you can remain anonymous if that's what you want to do. And we'll check out your strategy. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please hit that like on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when we put out another video. Check out the description below. I've got some Amazon links. I am an Amazon affiliate associate. I get a small commission if you click on one of the links and go through and buy something. You don't have to buy the stuff I list. Just shop as you normally would on Amazon. It doesn't charge you anything extra. So that's it. That's my little speech for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.